Hey, this is this, and hopefully for the not the last time. Okay, I wanted to been meaning to make this video for a while, but kind of been skipping it because as we've been hearing for the last couple of months on the Xbox One, we've been hearing endless amounts about Xbox One versus PS4, the RAM, and yeah, we all know that the PS4 has 8 gigs of GDDR5 RAM, which is very good. And the Xbox One has 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM. It's okay, but adequate. And to make matters worse, the PS4 will have 1 gig for its operating system, leaving 7 gigs for the developers to use, which is a shitload of fucking gigs. And in the Xbox One, it will use up 3 gigs because it has 3 operating systems. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this video, but not right yet. But anyways, it only leaves 5 gigs for its developers. And there's a significant drop. And of course, the DDR3 is also slower than the GDDR5. So Microsoft, to combat against this little problem, put in 34 megabytes of ES RAM. And yeah, it's nice. Instead of using ED RAM, they use ES RAM. And of course, Microsoft did this before when they put in a crapload of ED RAM in their Xbox 360, and it's pretty much decorated in the Wii U. It's just all over, and and it was just significantly much more better than Sony's VDR RAM that was in their PS3, which is why everything performed better on the Xbox 360 and even the old Wii, than it did on, well, the PlayStation 3. And that's why Sony was having so much problem. Well, that and the cell processor was a massive contributor to that little problem as well, and the weak graphics card, or the weak graphics chip. But anyways, the Wii U and the Xbox 360 have a ton of ED RAM in it. Just letting you know. But yeah, Microsoft is using ESRAM, 34 megabytes. And of course, this will increase the speed and allow for more faster texture loading than anything in bandwidth and all that other jazz. But there's another problem with Xbox One. A Everybody has brought up the whole RAM thing and how Microsoft fixed it, and they're all saying, "Oh, and this matches up the Xbox One with the PS4 now. They're both equal on equal footings." I have to say bullshit on that. I just have to call bullshit, and it has nothing to do with the RAM. And like I said, I was going to get back to the OSs, and it does. And yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I think the real major problem with Xbox One, and I'm hoping that I'm somewhat wrong, but I don't think I am on this one, is 3 operating systems in Xbox One. I think I've talked about this kind of in the other previous videos, but well, here's the thing. Anyone who's ran virtual machines on their PCs knows what happens when you overlap major operating systems on top of each other, one after another, three, four, five, or six of them. Your performance of your PC or even Mac tends to slow the fuck down, and I mean immensely. I mean, you can get away with running 2 operating systems, but 3 or 4, it just gets harder and harder for your PC to just crunch those numbers and get that bandwidth through, and it just hurts it more and more and more and more. And that's really the main problem with Xbox One, is that they're shoving in 3 operating systems on top of each other, and all of them are going to have higher end functions just like all operating systems. Yeah, you can get away with removing certain high-end functions, like get rid of the Ethernet ports on two of the operating systems and route it through one of the operating system's Ethernet port. That way, you won't have to you know set three different Ethernets, which would kind of irritate people. And yes, I'm well aware of dual booting, where you can dual boot into 3, 4, 5, and it doesn't go hurt your performance. But see, that means that you're booting within that operating system. You're not running multiple operating systems all at once. You're running a single operating system and then booting to another single operating system. That you're running all, singly, all alone and by itself. And when you do boot, you're just doing the same thing, but with just a different operating system. So that will not hurt performance on your PC or Mac or whatever. So dual booting will not hurt it. But what does hurt it is definitely running three operating systems all at once. I find this really bad, and I don't understand why Microsoft did this. First of all, it's taken up three of the 8 gigs of RAM. When the Wii U, yeah, the Wii U has only 2 gigs of RAM, and only 1 gig is being used for its operating system. And the PS4 has 8 gigs of RAM, and it's only using 1 gig. I mean, that's the only similarity is that 1 gig that's being used by their operating system. That's the similarity between the Wii U and the PS4. But this doesn't make any sense. I mean, yeah, and they said they were going to all run them singly together. And yeah, you'll get fast selecting where you're able to fast switching where you're able to run between those three operating systems. But then again, when you're running operating systems on top of each other, of course you can switch between their functionality extremely fast. But the problem is, and this is the downside, it in theory it will lower your CPU, your GPU, and your RAM speed down significantly. And the more operating systems you pack on, the worse it gets. Unless you're running just a kernel like an operating system with no, you know, GUI system on top. For some reason, that seems to work better. But they all have their own GUI systems, their own functionalities. They're all performing higher end functions, and it doesn't make any sense. And nobody wants to talk about it. I mean, everybody ignores this part of the conversation as if it's like a plague. Like, oh no, we can't say, there's a good chance that the Xbox One's processor and GPU and RAM will probably be reduced pretty badly and getting a high amount of lag because having three operating systems all running at the same time is not a good idea. But yet they continue on just saying, no, no, let's talk about the RAM. It's just as powerful as the PS4. They're on equal footing. No, you know what? And it's the same group of people that tried to defend Microsoft on their fucking bullshit DRM nonsense, and and then to try to defend Microsoft when it was pretty much apparent that Don Matrick got fired from Microsoft, and they're like, no, no, the company said that he left. We got to believe that. We got to believe he left willingly after the bullshit he ran. No, no, I'm not a fucking drone to this, and I'm not going to be a drone to Microsoft and their bullshits that they've been spouting out for the last couple of months, weeks. And Sony's had their fair share of bullshits, but not as bad as what Microsoft have been thrown out. And I'm just not going to go follow it like a blind little sheep. Facts are facts. And they stick out, and sometimes these facts stick out like sore thumbs. And you just gotta, accept these truths and stop believing the bullshit that you're being told. I mean, if Microsoft came up to you and said that our consoles are the fastest consoles in all the world, that could even beat the computers on the enterprise, I bet you people would believe that. You would actually believe it. You would actually think that the goddamn thing would transform and put holographic projections all around you. Just like what the Enterprise holodecks could do. Seriously, stop drinking the fucking Kool-Aid. Stop it. You're being idiots. Yes, the Wii U and the PS4 have their problems. But, and of course, the Wii U being that a bunch of fanboys decided to attack that, and it's actually working, and now Nintendo's losing money because, the hysterical nonsense that is coming out of people's mouths. I mean, next thing they're going to say is Nintendo's going around raping babies, and people will actually believe it and do whatever they can to burn down Nintendo products to stop it from happening. But there is a severe problem with the three operating systems, in my opinion. And I don't think that Microsoft has any way of fixing this. Putting 34 megabytes of ES RAM is not going to help at all. I don't. I mean, yes, it will allow a more straighter connection, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't think it would really help out the Xbox One in performance wise. I think, and if I'm right, and by the way, take this as with a grain of salt. Don't or maybe a possibility video. But I really do think that there's going to be a massive performance problem within the Xbox One, and the main problem will be the three operating systems. But that's just me. What do you think? Or if any of you are going to even write a comment down. See ya.